Well, listen up. I'm Brian Lee Durfee, author of The Forgetting Moon, published by Simon & Schuster's Saga Press. As you can see, I got the cowboy hat on again today. That means we're doing a Western book review. Let's get right to it. The Western I'm reviewing is Larry McMurtry's Comanche Moon. You can see here's my little paperback that I read. I've got a hardcover right here. In fact, I've got the entire Lonesome Dove series in hardcover and paperback. Love the series, love the series. Now, before we get started with the review, I just want to point out my shirt. This is a t-shirt with a painting on it of an old wildlife painting I did years and years ago. I made it into a t-shirt. Very narcissistic of me to take a painting I did and turn it into a t-shirt and wear it in a video. But if you pay attention to the whole video and you wait till the end, I will actually show you the original painting. It's hanging on the wall right over there. I'll pick up my camera, walk it over. I'll show you the original painting, and you can see and we can compare the t-shirt to the real thing. It'll be something new for the channel. I've never done that before. Comanche Moon. It is the second book in the Lonesome Dove series. However, it's the fourth book that he wrote in the Lonesome Dove series, if that makes sense. Kind of like how the Star Wars saga is jumbled all up. First one's actually the fourth one, the fifth one's actually the second one. You get what I'm saying? Comanche Moon. The fourth Lonesome Dove book written, however, it falls second in the chronology. Let's go over the chronology. Dead Man's Walk is number 1. Comanche Moon is number 2. Lonesome Dove is number 3. And The Streets of Laredo, number 4. Just so we're... And you can see I've done videos for the other 3 books already. And I will link to those at the top of the page. So if you want to watch my book reviews of those, you can. But only if you want. No one's forcing you. Let's get to the plot of Comanche Moon. I love this series. The best Western series ever written, bar none, inarguable, can't be argued. That's what that means. So it starts out with our great Texas Ranger pals, Gus McCrae and Woodrow Call. And if you've watched my other reviews of Lonesome Dove and these other books, you know that I think that Gus and Woodrow are the single greatest duo of characters ever written in literature, without exception. The dialogue between the two, the relationship between the two is on spot. I wish I was as good of a writer as Larry McMurtry and I could create characters just as lovable as they are. Even though they don't get along at all, ever, they're opposites. One of them, Gus McCrae is this carefree, nothing ever bothers him, everything's a joke to him, Texas Ranger. Woodrow Call is the exact opposite. He has a code of honor, he sticks to it, he gets really disgusted by anybody who is cavalier like Gus. That's the way it is. I love these characters. They love each other, even though they're opposites, even though they grate on each other's nerves. They have a great affection for each other. And it shows in the writing and it shows in the storytelling of Larry McMurtry. That is the selling point of all of these books, to be honest with you. The two characters, Gus McCrae, Woodrow Call, are most favorite Texas Rangers of all time. What happens in this book, though? This book takes place around the Civil War time. Dead Man's Walk took place in the early 1800s. This takes place about Civil War time. Lonesome Dove takes place in the later 1800s, and Comanche and Streets of Laredo takes place, close to the turn of the century, close to the 1900s, late 1800s, whatever. This one takes place about Civil War time, or right thereafter, I think. So there's a troop of Texas Rangers. Gus McCrae and Woodrow Call are part of this troop. The troop is led by a man named Ennis Skull. And They are tasked with, hunting down Kicking Wolf, who is a famous Indian Comanche horse thief. That's their task. That's what the governor wants them to do. There's this Comanche horse thief. You Texas Rangers, you led by Innis Skull, you guys got to go get this horse thief and bring him to justice. That's the basis of the plot. Well, before anything really kicks off, Kicking Wolf steals Innis Skull's favorite horse right out from under him, and off he goes. And Innis Skull decides, I'm going to go chase this guy myself. He leaves the other Texas Rangers and he goes off on his own with one other guide, an Indian guide, and they go off to chase Kicking Wolf. Well, Kicking Wolf sells the horse to a Mexican bandit named Amado. And Amado is also famous for being this horrible, horrible torturer. Like when he gets prisoners, he tortures them. And that becomes very important to the plot later on. Very important to Innis Skull and the plot and what happens to the Texas Rangers who have to go rescue Innis Skull. Because remember, it was the Rangers were tasked with this thing of going as a group to get this bandit, to get this horse thief. And Innis Skull just says, screw it, I'm going to go after this guy myself. He gets captured. And now Gus McCrae and Woodrow Call and the other Texas Rangers have to go rescue this guy from this Mexican bandit / torturer. Fantastic story. What an adventure story there. That's the setup of the plot. I do not give spoilers in my reviews. I just give basic plot points, and then you can read the book and discover all the twists and turns and all the great adventures yourself. I just like to give you a, hey, basically these books are awesome, read them type reviews. All of our, we get introduced to like a lot of the people that are in Lonesome Dove and Streets of Laredo. A lot of these people are starting to get introduced now, like Clara and Maggie and the Blue Duck and Buffalo Hump. All of our favorite characters that start to show up in the rest of the novels are introduced here. A lot of the plot points that are major plot points in these other two novels, I start to get their seeds in this book. We start to see how relationships are formed that go through the rest of the series in this book. It's a great, great adventure story, great Western adventure story. It's got blood and guts and grit, and man, I tell you, every time I read a Larry McMurtry Lonesome Dove novel, I'm like, why the hell would anybody want to live in the 1800s? It was a miserable existence, especially in Texas, where you're dodging enemies at every turn. I mean, you've got cattle rustlers, you've got Mexican bandits, you've got Comanche Indians and horse thieves, and you've got bad Texas Rangers and good Texas Rangers. I mean, it's just like everything is coming at you at 1,000,000 miles an hour, and only thing you got is your pistols and your rifle and your horse. A lot of times you don't have any of those. You still got to fight your way through it. The Old West was a rough place. People think we have it bad today. I'm telling you. There's not one of us on the earth right now living in 2020. Despite the fact I'm making this video during all the COVID-19 shutdowns and all the Black Lives Matter riots and all that, as hard as all that stuff seems to handle, nothing compared to what actual frontier life was like. I wouldn't trade spots with any of these people. Makes you appreciate what you got. It really does. Now, this is my second favorite in the Lonesome Dove series. There's four books in the Lonesome Dove series. This is my second favorite after Lonesome Dove. It is a strong, strong novel. Again, one of the novels I wished I had written. That's how good it is. I give it a 9.5 out of 10. I might even give it a 9.9, maybe even a 10. Let's just say it's a 10. It is. It really is. Comanche Moon. 10 out of 10. It is awesome. And you can watch the other reviews I've got for the other 3 books too. I will link to them in at the end of this video. But I promised you a treat, something that this is the only video where you're going to get this, where I'm going to take my camera over and show you one of my original wildlife art paintings. Just so you know, I used to be a wildlife artist. I also used to paint illustrations for Magic the Gathering and Dungeons and Dragons. But where I made most of my money was selling through galleries out of Santa Fe, New Mexico, Scottsdale, Arizona, Jackson Hole, Wyoming, Park City, Utah. I used to sell my wildlife nature art. And this is a t-shirt I made of one of my paintings. But I'm going to show you the original. I only own 5. I've done hundreds and hundreds of paintings. I've sold all of them, except for 5 that I kept for myself. So I'll show you a few of those while we're at it, okay? Let's go look. Let me pick up the camera, hold it so I don't turn it off. Let's go look at this painting here. This is one of the ones that I own. I'm a huge Raiders fan. You can see all my Raiders bling. I painted this Raiders guy. I think it turned out okay. Let's walk over here. I did a series of fold-out posters for Star Wars Galaxy magazine. That's the one I did of Boba Fett. I really quite like that one. Okay, let's go over here and look at, well, the lamp's in the way. That's a painting I did for Dungeons and Dragons of an archer. That was cool. Look at that one. That's the original painting of the doll sheep and the... Oh man, I don't know if I can even make it look good. Let's go like that. So that's it. There's the t-shirt. By the way, you can order those t-shirts. If you go to my website, there's a link where you can order any one of my paintings. A print, t-shirt, shower curtains, pillows, blankets, rugs. You can get these things on anything. Yeah, it's a shameless plug, I know, whatever. But it's the only video I've ever done the shameless plug. So here we go. Comanche Moon.